1300 WIMG and WPHY Channel 25 proudly presents today's topic on Trenton Talks. Today's topic is a program that discusses the topics that are important to you. And now, today's topic.
Hello, friend, and welcome back to the Trenton 365 show, or is this, this may be a different version anyway. I'm Jacque Howard. I'm your host for this segment, and we're going to be talking about some health-related issues and encouraging folks to get back to this whole ideology of taking better care of themselves and paying attention to symptoms, etc. So I've got Tonya Stackhouse, who's in the studio with me, and I just met Tonya not long ago, but I was reading her dossier, so to speak, and after reading over it, the first thing I said was, how you feeling?
I feel great.
Well, I want to back up, first of all, and allow you some time to introduce yourself. First of all, I'm feeling that lipstick.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, so you got some ink there, too?
Yes.
I see it's a butterfly, a couple of butterflies.
Yes.
So I'm sure you're someone who embraces the idea of transformation.
Yes. Yes.
Awesome. So let's talk a little bit about who Tonya Stackhouse is.
Let's see. I was born and raised in Trenton, so I am a true Trentonian. As the saying goes around, as we're doing on Facebook, I am going swimming at junior 3-year-old back in the summer. So, you know, I've been around for almost 47 years. Everything. Right now, I work with the Hamilton YMCA. I work the BASE program. This school year, I got promoted to a coordinator. So I've been around children since I was 7 and working with children for such a long time. I always tell people I got 40 years in this game of working with children. So there's nothing I haven't seen, from cloth diapers to glass bottles to the new stuff. So children can throw whatever they want at me. I got you, boos.
Awesome. And I'm sure in your life, when you reflect back to the adults and the guardians who were in your life, I'm sure you picked up different things from them about how to deal with children.
Oh, yes. Let me see. From get somewhere and sit down to, you know, now it's getting warmer out, so don't let the street lights catch you when you running from the West End Little League to everything. It's just like, you know, you kind of have to incorporate the old with the new, because, you know, what we grew up with, like, you know, go get a switch off the tree, to now, oh, I'm going to call the peoples on you. So you just have to, you know, every child is different. So you have to gauge a child to gauge what type of consequence is going to work for them and everything. Like, I work with children, you know, like maybe 10, 20 children in a classroom, in a preschool classroom. So a timeout might work for one child, but not for another child. Like, I had a child who, you know, they had to be my buddy. They didn't like that, because if I'm not playing, they ain't playing. And they had to watch the kids and stand still. So they ain't like it. So I'm like, all right, you're going to be my buddy. And they get it together. So, and then from another child, like, okay, all right, put your hands in your pocket, because that wouldn't work for them. So you have to gauge, every child is different. You have to gauge them in a different manner and what works for, and see what's going to work for them. So,
now, were you always passionate about working with kids?
I knew from the age of 12 I wanted to work with kids. About 12 or 13 I wanted to work with kids, and that's you know, my cousin, like I said, I was 7 when she had her first son, and he is now 40. So, like, just being with her, and she'd be like, all right, his diaper needs to be changed. Go make a bottle. I watch him while I go, you know, do this and do that. So I was just like, oh, okay. So you just get in there and do it. And I just knew I wanted to work with kids in some age, shape, or form. Like, I wanted to be a pediatric nurse, and then I thought, like, I don't think I can stick a child with a needle. So then I, you know, turned more in the way of education. So I worked I worked with children from ages birth all the way up to about 21, because I also worked in a group home.
Okay. All right. Well, let's transition and tie together this this idea of you being someone who's supportive of the idea of transformation and your personal health challenges that you have. Let's start from the beginning with your health.
See, me personally, I never really took my health seriously because I was pretty much an active child, active adult, back in the day when you could walk Trenton anywhere and nobody really bothered you. So I didn't, take it like, okay, well, I got to take this medication. I wasn't a big, medication taker and anything. And then, at one point, I had to go on high blood pressure medication because my blood pressure was elevated. And I was doing great on it for, a while, a number of years. And then it just came to the point where my blood pressure wasn't being regulated through the medication. And this was maybe back in 2003-ish. Early 2003, and so the nurse practitioner I was seeing through my doctor's office, she kept trying different medication, and she did some tests, but I guess she really must didn't know, okay, she needed to go see a specialist, because as I found out later, your kidneys help regulate your blood pressure and everything, so but your blood hypertension, high blood pressure, can cause kidney failure. So they both go hand in hand. So I learned the hard way what dialysis is, because I was at a family reunion in South Carolina, and everything just tasted salty to me. Everything tasted salty, so super salty. And I had a bad migraine, and then my blood pressure was so high, I had a seizure, thank God not a stroke. I had a seizure, got rushed to the hospital, and I was waking up, they was like, your kidneys failed, you have to go on dialysis. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Or what is dialysis? I didn't know. So it's just and when I look back, about a month prior to me going to South Carolina, maybe 2 months prior to me going to South Carolina for my family reunion, I went to South Carolina to visit a friend of mine. And I was he was like, well, what time did you leave? Are you here? And I would stop and come out. I had to stop because my lower back was hurting me so much, where my kidneys sat at. But I didn't know what it was. I was just oh, my God, I've been sitting so long. My back hurts and everything. So I get out. I would stop and rest a while, and then I'll go back. So, and it was just but little did I know, that was a sign that, something was going on with my kidneys. Mm-hmm. So anytime you have pain where your kidneys sit at in your back, you need to go get it checked out.
I want to back up and have you talk about dialysis.
Mm-hmm.
I know you were. What is dialysis, number one, and what's that experience like?
Dialysis is pretty much where I had hemodialysis. I know there's peritoneal dialysis, and I'm not sure about that one, but I had hemodialysis. It's where it's a machine, so you get hooked up via 2 needles, and it's a machine that cleans your blood, because your kidneys help get rid of waste out of your body, and if your kidneys isn't working, then it's you could take a person and their kidneys not working and they're really puffy, because that waste is building up in their body. So what hemodialysis do, it cleans your blood. So it pulls your blood out, it sends it through the machine and the bicarbonate, and it cleans it, and then it puts it back in your body. So, and that experience is different for everyone. So, today is Tuesday, so I was on a Tuesday rotation. So I can have dialysis today. I can go home, feel fine, feel great. But tomorrow I might feel tired, have the nervous jitters. I can't sleep. I would get bad Charlie horse's leg cramps in my legs. So it affects people differently. Some people can work on dialysis and some people can't. So, when you have kidney failure, you are eligible for Social Security disability, Medicare, so you're eligible for things because they never know how your body is going to react to it. Mm-hmm. So, it's just, and it's a lot of stress on the body. Mm-hmm. And it's a lot of it's dedication, because when I was on dialysis, the nurses and everything, it was you're so young, go on the transplant list, and it's not as easy as it's like, okay, I want to go on the transplant list. Like you have to follow a dialysis diet, as I like to call it, and you have to do your dialysis treatment, because when you go for evaluation to get put on a transplant list, I know especially for kidneys, they want to see that, like, are you doing what you're supposed to do on dialysis? Because if you're not, they don't essentially want to waste a kidney on you, and you won't take the medication like you're supposed to take it.
So you touched on something that I wanted to bring up again, and that was the better health. And we'll talk about that in just a moment. I'm speaking with Tonya Stackhouse. We're going to be talking about health, but particularly kidney health, and her efforts to bring awareness. She's got a walk that she's participating in as well. And we're going to have her share her contact information in just a little bit. But you're listening and watching WIMG 1300. I'm Jacque Howard. So, Tonya, you had 16 years of kidney failure.
Yes.
Now,
16 years ago.
So 16 years ago.
Yeah,
Oh,
when
okay.
my kidneys first fell. 16 years when my kidneys first fell.
Okay, so, and then you had the transplant.
Almost 15 years.
Now, well, let's talk about that process. I mean, what that was like, the surgery, the follow-up, etc.
Well, for me, because I was still in college, so I was in college, and I had my own plans when I was going to get my get my kidney transplant, but God had another plan for me because I was like, I'm like, this is my last semester of school, so I'm just going to wait till I'm done with school. So blah blah blah. But I was like, nope, got something for you. So it was like I started dialysis September of 2003, and I didn't have insurance. So that was like a big factor. So I didn't have insurance, and like, oh, you need to go get on the transplant list, and I'm like, okay, but I got to have things in place. So I didn't have insurance. So then, because of my kidney failure, now I'm eligible for Medicare. So, but it takes about 3 months for Medicare to kick in. So my Medicare finally kicked in January 1st of 2004. After that, I went up to Robert Wood in New Brunswick, and I got evaluated for transplantation. So from about February of 2004 to September of, once you get evaluated, they let you know after you get all the blood work done and you go for all these testings. Then they let you know if you're eligible, because they have to get your reports from your dialysis unit, your blood work, and see if you are compliant, which I was. I had nothing else to do. I needed to live and everything. So once that happened, it was like I know now August before school started back, they had called me and was like, we have a kidney for you, but they'll call you and like, we have a kidney for you, whether you're number 1, 2, or 3, but they still also have to test the kidney to make sure it's a good kidney. So then they call me back, like a couple hours. So I didn't tell anybody that because I didn't want to get anybody hopes up high. So I'm like, okay. So then they called me back. I think it was the next day or several hours later. It was like, well, the kidney was no good. I'm like, okay. So it was what it was. So then I remember it was like that they had called me that Saturday night in September, like the 17th. They called me that Saturday. It was like, all right, we have a kidney for you, but you're number 2 you're number 2 because we had someone else ahead of you. We have to see what's going on with him. I'm like, okay, all right. So I woke up that Sunday morning. I was like, I'm not going to go to church. No, I'm going to go to church. So I was back and forth with going to church, and I went, and I said a prayer. And then when I got home, it was a message for me like, the transplant is yours. I need you to call us back right away, whatever. So I'm like calling them back. So then like my coordinator, she called me back. She was like, I'm like, I did call. So she was like, well, can you be here by like 3 o'clock? It was 2 o'clock. I'm like, yep, sure, not a problem. I'm like, oh my God. So I had to call my cousin. She came to get me. So I'm like, it's going to take us 45 minutes. It's 2:30. I was like, I don't care. I will run every light. I made it there by 3 o'clock.
On time.
I got there when I was supposed to be there. And for me, like, it wasn't the only painful time for me after my transplant was when I think right after the surgery, because you know your medication is wearing down. I'm like, I just need something after that, because my mind was so focused on finishing school. I ain't had time to worry about the pain. I was like, this is my last semester. It was like, you have any questions? I'm like, yeah, when can I go back to school? And it was like, can we make it through the transplant? But everything went well. And September 19th of this year be 15 years.
All right. Awesome. I'm going to have you share your contact information, please.
Okay.
Okay. What is your contact information?
I can be reached on Facebook at Tonya Stackhouse. On Facebook, on Instagram, I think it's Jersey Stack. And also, I'm on Snapchat too. I think it's Stack-a-Noodle.
We'll hold off on the Snapchat stuff, y'all, because we don't want anybody going on Snapchat thinking they know what they're doing and get themselves caught up in something. I'm speaking with Tonya Stackhouse. We're talking about personal health and particularly kidney health, and we'll be talking more after a short break. I'm Jacque Howard, and you're listening over WIMG 1300.
Do you have chronic back pain, knee pain, or arthritis? If you have Medicare or private insurance like Aetna, United Healthcare, Humana, or Blue Cross, you may qualify for a safe, drug-free remedy for your everyday back and knee pain, but you must call now. You may be eligible for a pain-relieving back or knee brace at little or no cost to you. These pain relief braces are ideal for back pain, arthritis, sciatica, leg pain, knee pain, and other painful conditions that make life difficult. Our associates will work directly with Medicare or your insurance company for free. Your knee or back brace will be delivered directly to your door. Imagine playing with your grandkids or enjoying tennis or golf again. Call the National Knee and Back Brace Center to qualify for your Medicare or insurance-covered knee or back brace.
Call 800-416-0773. 800-416-0773. 800-416-0773.
And welcome back to WIMG 1300, New Jersey's oldest radio station. You don't believe me? Just Google it or look it up on Wikipedia. WIMG 1300, New Jersey's oldest radio station. And for those of you who are history buffs, don't get upset when you find out the history about where it came from. And why don't you send me an email if you do find out about it and you want to discuss. Trenton365show@gmail.com. So I've got Tonya Stackhouse in the studio, and Tonya is a kidney transplant. Is it the right terminology to say survivor or?
Yes, you can say that.
Okay. All right, a kidney transplant survivor, recipient. I like recipient better. So I want to back this up and talk about, you led off by saying that you didn't think about your health. You was just doing what you normally do. You felt good. You were walking all over the place. And then it was like, pump the brakes. Yep. Earlier tonight, I was sharing about how, especially black men, we have this like, muchísimo about like wanting to go to the doctor and not getting I feel good, I'm strong, all those different things. That's how you check out of here.
That's right.
So I want you to talk about your journey of coming to that place where you said, wait, I got to be better than this.
Yes. It was my kidney failure that led me to like, I got to take my health more serious. And even with making the decision of going on the transplant list, it was like, it was which one was going to be the lesser of two evils for me. Getting stuck with needles every other day or taking a bunch of medication. So I chose the medication, which, you know, it got easier at the time, but it is true. You have to, it's like the simple things that will take you out of here, that preventive, you know, healthcare will help you with. I was talking to one of my coworkers today, and she was like, oh no, I don't do all that, you know, going for a mammogram, and you don't need to go for a colonoscopy. I'm like, sweetie, I said, that's how people check out, because I said something that is so simple that they can find and detect early that can save your life. You're not doing it because of radiation, which is very minute. But that's me now. It's like now I learned my lesson, so I try to like help people. Like, I don't take my health for granted. If I find a doctor that I don't like and they talking to me crazy and we not vibing, you can't be my doctor.
And just find another one.
Yeah, exactly, because I look at it like this, and people should look at it like this. The doctors don't pay you to come to their office. You pay them to take care of you. You have to work well with the person who is looking, with your health, because you only get one life. This is your body. You know what's going to go wrong in it before they can tell you. So that's me now. I'm like, anybody I know that tell me they have hypertension or diabetes, my first thing to them is make sure your doctor is checking your kidney function at least once a year. So that way, if something is happening, you can detect it early. If they see something funky, your creatinine level isn't the same, or something is going on, your blood pressure isn't staying regulated with your medications, they can send you to a nephrologist. A nephrologist is the kidney doctor. Mm-hmm. So that way, you won't get caught like I did, okay, your kidneys fail, you have to go on dialysis, and you don't know anything about it. Because that is hard. It's hard. Emotionally, it's hard. Physically, it's a hard road. You can't eat nothing on dialysis. You really can't. Mm-hmm. Because dialysis, it helps regulate the potassium and the phosphorus in your body. And if everybody know, if you have too high or too low of potassium, it can cause a heart attack. And everything. So it's just like, you can't have chocolate. Now, for all the teachers out there and anybody that work with kids, you know how much we depend on that chocolate. Just saying. And on dialysis, you can't have chocolate.
So Tonya, it would have been easy for you to recognize where you are, have the kidney transplant, and just go on with your life. Mm-hmm. Why was it important for you to share your story and to encourage other people?
Because I feel as though you should know, you should take care of your health, and I had to learn the hard way. Nobody in my family knew what dialysis was, so I didn't have time to break down for me, because everybody else in my family were like, oh my God, they didn't know what was going on. So I had to stay strong for myself and for them. It helped me that I was in school and I was a psychology major. One of my last class was group dynamics, so I can go talk, because they had questions. Like my classmate had questions, so it was like it helped me to help me talk with my teacher, who were all like my psychology teachers. So that helped me. But I feel as though sometimes doctors don't tell us everything, and some people don't know what questions to ask. So if you want to reach out to me via, Messenger on Facebook or my DM on Instagram and ask me questions, I'm more than willing to answer them, because I feel as though if you don't know, I don't want you out here and your blood pressure is high, you could stroke out. Lucky for me, I had a seizure. And I say lucky for me, even though a seizure is bad, but a stroke can take you out of here. Not saying a seizure can't, but you hit a connotation between a seizure and a stroke. It's just like, I could have had a seizure. I could not be here today and everything. So if I can help educate people, like if you have questions, feel free, ask your doctor if you don't know.
And I know that you're going to be participating in the kidney walk that is happening at Veterans Park September 22nd, 2019.
Yes.
Why is that important? And before you answer, this area, because it's so densely populated, it seems like every weekend there's another walk or an opportunity for people to get together and to support causes and to get out. Why is this one important to you?
Well, one thing the National Kidney Foundation does, if you go on their website, www.kidney.org, is they do a lot of screenings. So they do a lot of free screenings so people can know what their blood pressures are. So the money that we help raise help to do those free screenings and to help educate nephrologists and social workers who deal with kidney patients, because, you know, like people think, oh, I'm not going back to school, or, oh, I got this, I don't have to go to school no more. You always have to learn, because new things come out every day. So one thing they do is like help with the free screenings, and they'll set, like, anybody, if you have a company or organization and you can set up with them, they can come to, like, if you're a big company, they can come to your job and set up for a free screening. So they help with these free screenings so people know their numbers. And the more you know your numbers and your health, so when something isn't looking right, when you go get blood work done, and they can go back from before, so they can kind of gauge and know what they need to do. They have a base to start out with and everything. So it's, you know, that's one thing they help with. So that's why I participate in the walk. That's part of my way of giving back, because if, like, it goes back to helping educate other people and everything.
Now, the walk that's happening at Veterans Park on September 22nd, registration begins at 8:30 and the walk begins at 10.
Yes.
What's the mileage, and is there a particular theme? Because I've been to some events where it's like a carnival, and then I've also been to walks where it's like, hey, you get out of your vehicle, you stretch, you walk, and then you go home.
Well, normally they have like tables set up around, and I always like to say, oh, let me go get my swag bags and everything, and it's like stuff dealing with, like, you know, kidney stuff, like, you know, dialysis, because you can do home dialysis if, you know, you don't, some people's lives are busy where, like, they can't go to, like, a dialysis unit and do it, so you can actually do home dialysis and everything. So they have tables set around. Normally they have, like, snacks and juices from, like, Wawa's, anything. They have a DJ out there. They might have someone out there giving a speech, and the walk is, I think the last couple of years we did them in different places, like no more than maybe 2 or 4 miles round trip. So it's not very big. It's not like, oh, we're going to be walking, like, doing a 5K or anything like that. So it's just like, it's like very small, very intimate. And it's I have fun when I go. You know, I have a team. So the name of my team is Stack's Journey. So if anybody can join my team. You can go to the www.kidney.org, and you can look up a walk near you, because they're nationwide. We're the Central New Jersey Kidney Walk, and you can scroll through teams. You can join a team if you would like to join my team and help raise money. You can hit me up on Messenger, Tonya Stackhouse, or on Instagram at Jersey Stack, and I'll, you know, send you a link to join my team. I know with some walks, it's like if you want to walk and participate, they charge you like $25 or whatever it is to sign up to walk. With ours, you don't have to pay anything to sign up to walk. We can hold different type of fundraisers for our walk, our own individual walks. Like, you know, I do have wristbands. I have to pick up some more that I like normally get for them for free, and like maybe sell them for $1. It just says Donate Life. And just so we all aware, April is National Kidney Month. So I know it's also National Autism Month, but April is National Kidney Month, and we do, I can't remember the day in April, but we do have like a World Kidney Day and everything. So it's just like, and the color for kidney is orange.
All right.
And everything. I don't know who picks these colors. For me, everything would be purple, because my favorite color is purple.
So is this, it's technically yellow, I guess. All right, the microphone cover. Well, Tonya, it was a pleasure to have you on the show. You're welcome, and to share some information about kidney, the process of it, kidney health, the transplant, etc. I'd like to have you come back and talk about after the walk or prior to the walk, to get some more people involved and to just encourage people to take better care of their health.
Yes. Okay, I surely will. I'll come back anytime.
Awesome. I love that. All right. Tonya Stackhouse has been my guest here. You can find her. I'll give you a couple things. Tonya Stackhouse, like it sounds, on Facebook. On Instagram, it's Jersey, like New Jersey, Stack, Jersey Stack. And her team is Stack's Journey, and that's on the website, kidney.org. All you have to do is click on the location, and this is the Kidney Walk, the Central New Jersey Kidney Walk, September 22nd, 2019 at Veterans Park. Registration at 8:30 a.m. Walk begins at 10.
Yes.
All right. Well, Jersey Stack, I'll be following you on Instagram in just a moment or two.
Okay.
All right, folks, you've been listening and watching over WIMG 1300. I'm Jacque Howard. We'll be back after a short break.
Open at the Franklin Institute, Marvel, Universe of Superheroes. Explore Marvel's legacy through immersive set pieces, original artwork, movie props, costumes, and other rare materials. See how superheroes have evolved to reflect changing times, delve into fan culture, and learn more about the creators behind the story. Marvel, Universe of Superheroes at the Franklin Institute, an exhibit for the hero in all of us. Get tickets today at fi.edu.
The Can-Am Ready to Ride sales event is on now because our off-road vehicles are built for this. We're built for hitting the trails as the sun comes up, for odd jobs and bales of hay, for kicking up dust on a long dirt road. So, how do you become built for this? By getting to the Ready to Ride sales event and finding a new Can-Am off-road vehicle for a great deal. Get to your local dealer to save up to $2,500 on select 2019 models for a limited time. Certain restrictions apply, subject to credit approval. See your dealer for details.
I'm gonna hide behind the mountain. I'm gonna hide behind the mountain. I'm going where the chilly wind don't blow. Something else I came to realize. I know that Jesus is the mountain. I know that Jesus is the mountain, yeah. I know that Jesus He is the mountain. I'm going where the chilly winds don't blow. I don't know about you. I'm going where chilly winds don't blow. I'm going where chilly winds don't blow. I'm going where chilly winds don't blow. Every day will be Sunday. Chilly winds don't blow. Sabbath will have no end. Chilly winds don't blow. Will you meet me there? Chilly winds don't blow. I'm going where the chilly winds. Oh, where the chilly.
And welcome back to today's topic. I'm Jacque Howard, your host. You can send me an email, Trenton365show@gmail.com. In addition to that, you can also find me on Tuesday nights here over WIMG 1300 from 7 to 8 p.m. for the Trenton 365 show. You're listening over WIMG 1300, four-time stellar gospel award-winning station. In addition to that, you can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at WIMG 1300. And the television portion is aired over WPHY Channel 25, covering Mercer County, New Jersey, through the Verizon Fios network. So I've got a couple of new friends here in the studio, and it's a nonprofit organization. So you guys know how I feel about nonprofits. They're an integral part of our society and our culture, and it behooves us to really take some time to think about how we can get involved in the communities that we live in and give back to those nonprofit organizations, donate our time, talent, or treasures in some capacity so that they can do the work that they do. It's a great way to offset some different things happening in the community, whether you're thinking about health-related, recreation-related, governmental issues. There's lots of different ways for you to get involved. So I'm a big supporter of nonprofit organizations. So anyway, in the studio with me, I've got two new friends. I've got a new 13-year-old friend named Ciani Jacobs, and we were talking before the program. I'm wondering if I actually know her parents or her mom, but maybe we'll get into that a little bit later. And I've got her mentor here, Keara Mulder, and they're coming from this organization, Virtuous Women of Promise, VWOP, and they're going to share some details about that in just a little bit. And let me see here. So we've got a website, bridginggapsinc.org, bridginggapsinc.org, and a phone number 609-906-8272. And I'm going to blow you up, Keara, because you said you were her mentor, but on this information I got here, it says that you're coming with a little bit more than that. It says president and CEO.
Yes, it is.
So I'm going to allow you to introduce yourself, and then I'm going to chastise you a little bit about the president and CEO spot, making it sound like I'm just the mentor with the organization. You may do both. Anyway, let's start with you first.
So my name is Keara Mulder, and I am the founder of Bridging Gaps Incorporated.
Yay.
We're a nonprofit organization located here in the city of Trenton. I always sum it up as community service based. Everything that I do, everything that I promote is for the community. We do give away clothes. We also do food baskets during the holiday season. And we also do a toy drive during the Christmas time. So like I said, everything that we do is for the community. The thing that I did come here to promote the most today was my mentoring program. Hence why I highlighted myself as a mentor, and I did bring in one of my mentees, Ciani, with me, and that is Virtuous Women of Promise. I pretty much wanted to be able to give back to young girls. The program is for girls ages 10 to 17. It pretty much want to teach on self-love, self-awareness, building self-esteem. I wanted to also give them the opportunity to be able to meet other female business owners such as myself, to be able to introduce to them the different things that they may be able to do once they mature and become young adults.
Well, that was a mouthful, and I'm glad you spit it all out. I think we can probably finish the interview up. Good night. Take care. No. So that was awesome. So before we get over to Ciani, because we're going to spend a lot of time talking with you. So you've got this great smile, and we're going to get into that in just a minute. But so Keara, why start a nonprofit? I mean, and I like to ask that because there's so many things that we can do with our time. But generally, I think when people think about starting nonprofits, it's for a very particular reason, and it's not about making money.
So the birth of my organization actually stemmed from a ministry that I had the opportunity to work on at my church. And they had this group called the Sister to Sister chapter. And I spoke to the president at the time, and I said, I think I want to do this for young girls. So at that time, I was doing it for my church. We got together. We pretty much would sit and we would rap, we would talk, and then I would take the girls out on outings. And I was like, honestly, I love it. I enjoy the young people. I enjoy being able to impart knowledge and impart into them the things that I've learned. And I just was like, this is greater and it's bigger than four walls in the church. And I said, I want to take this and I want to expand it. And I want to be able to open it up to people who may not be church. because the only people that's actually being able to benefit at that time was people that were in the church. So I was just like, I want to hit the ground and do something that I can personalize and open it up to more people, and that's what I did. So from that was birth. Actually, Virtuous Women of Promise was birthed before my nonprofit.
Okay.
What happened was I created the mentoring program, but then I was like, it's bigger than that. I don't want to just service young girls. I want to be able to service all people. And that's when I grew it to Bridging Gaps Incorporated. I wanted to be able to be the bridge. Sometimes people only need a little bit of help just to get to that next phase in life, or to get to that next part in life that can help them transition to a better place. Who's there to be the transition piece? And that's where I came up with the name, Bridging the Gap. I wanted to be the organization or the person that be able to help bridge that gap for people. If you just need a little bit of food for the month, sure, we can get you a gift card. If you need some clothes, sure, let me see who I can hit up. Let's get you some clothes. If you need some basic entry skills, because eventually once I get my building, I want to be able to offer social services. I want to be able to offer you skills that'll help you have entry level job knowledge so that you can become a customer service rep or become an administrative assistant. I want to be that bridge. What is it that you're missing? What is it that you're lacking? I want to be able to provide that service for you. So that's where it birthed from. It stemmed from a ministry, and then it just went to my passion from helping youth to want to be able to help all. And I just don't even do the mentoring program. I also have an empowerment event that I do for women, and that's called the Then and Now Experience. And we actually just had our meeting, when was that, April the 13th, and it was awesome. This year the theme was From Victim to Victor. Everyone on my panel had survived domestic abuse, sexual assault, rape, molestation, and it was just so powerful to have 8 different women come in and speak about the traumatic events in their life, but also be able to express to us the transition to be able to heal and move forward from it. So I wanted to be able to present that platform to give a voice to people who may not always have a voice.
I think you and I are going to get along well. I also want to give you kudos for your T-shirt and your logo. I love the fact that we have an iconic bridge here in Trenton, but I think it's a bit redundant. Everything in Trenton doesn't need to be about the bridge or the Capitol. So thank you very much for coming up with a strategic name, but not having the bridge in the logo. So that's great. That's great.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. All right, so Ciani.
Yes.
13 years old, you have obviously connected with your mentor here because, again, it's, a Tuesday evening and there's plenty of things that you could be doing, but you're hanging out with your mentor, doing some radio and TV. Let's share a little bit about who you are, and I would assume that you go to Crockett Middle School in Hamilton. You rocking the Crockett Cougars colors. So big up to all the folks at Crockett. One of my friends used to be one of the principals there. Angela Belmont was a principal there many years ago, and shout out to her. So let's talk about who you are and what it's like being part of the program.
Well, my name is Ciani Jacobs. I am a young 13-year-old trying to come up in the world, trying to make a name that benefits me and Miss Keara. The program, it's really nice. I really like it. It's really empowering, especially finding a place in the world as a black young female. It's kind of hard, but as I'm learning from Miss Keara, it's kind of taking the burden off of me. It's making it easier.
You said a few things there, and I've got a 15-year-old, soon to be 16, and I'm always amazed, like, having communication with her and with our friends, because I can tell you when I was that age, I was definitely not nearly as sharp as the young men and young women who I come in contact with now. So kudos to your family and for mentors like Miss Keara who are doing some things to help you and encourage you along the way. But I'd like to hear people identify areas where they can grow. And it's not always a negative. It's a positive. Like, if you're really good at something and you want to get better, it's a growth opportunity. And you address that in, like, you want to be empowered. You recognize who you are. You've got some stuff that you want to do. You mentioned you want to come up in the world, and you got to remember sometimes when you're dealing with older folks like us, they may hear that slang and not quite understand what you mean by that. So could you share that in a way that the older generation would understand what you mean by that?
Well, what I mean by coming up is, just trying to set an example for the future generation, and not just, coming up as a bad influence on, the younger people under me. I want to set a good example for them and not just, be here and there. Mm-hmm. I just want to come up and empower them too, so I can be an example for them.
Now, I generally like to ask my guests what they're, like, when did they first get the inclination to, hey, I want to do this, or I knew I was good at this. But you're 13, so I'm sure you can reflect back on an earlier time in your life, but you're still formulating all those different things. So at this point, is there anything that really has your attention that really, really excites you?
Well, I do sing, so yes.
All right, so you're a performing artist.
Yes.
All right, so are there any particular artists that are hot right now for you?
Well, I'm in the church right now. My mom, she is a minister. All my gifts have come from her.
So she's limited to the music she probably can listen to.
Yes.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. You're 13.
I grew up in church.
It's 13. That's the way it is. Now, and I'm sure at some point in time you're going to be able to experiment and do some other things, but that's the way it is. Where's your mom pastoring your church? What's the name of it?
We attend Lion of Judah Faith Center.
Lion of Judah?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Sound like you might have a little bit of that Rastafari. Let me stop. All right, so we got a couple minutes before we're up on a break. So what I want to do is have Keara, can you share the contact information for the organization, and then we're going to go on break, and we'll come back and we'll jump back in with you, okay?
Okay, sure. So he did give you guys the website. It's www.bridginggapsinc.org. You can also follow us on Instagram and Facebook. We are Bridging Gaps Inc. on both locations. If you would like, our phone number is 609-906-8272.
Fantastic. I got Bridging the Gaps on air right now. We'll be back after a short break. You're watching and listening over WIMG 1300.
This is an important announcement. If you're between 50 and 85 and worried about your loved ones, you can still get affordable life insurance for peace of mind.
My life insurance coverage is guaranteed, and I was not required to get a medical exam.
I had high blood pressure and diabetes, and I got my coverage with one telephone call. No exam necessary.
I'm a smoker, and I wanted to take care of my family. I called to get my life insurance and my affairs in order. I wanted to do the right thing.
Call Final Expense No Exam Insurance. Your rates are guaranteed and will never increase.
I called and learned that this insurance cannot be canceled, even if you get sick or gain weight.
And there are no restrictions on how my beneficiaries use the money when I'm gone.
Don't wait until it's too late. Call now and get peace of mind for you and your family. Call 800-340-1290. 800-340-1290. 800-340-1290. 800-340-1290.
And welcome back to today's topic. And as always, the off-camera stuff is generally the fun stuff. At some point in time, I'm going to put together not a blooper reel, but a behind-the-scenes reel, and where we can talk about stuff. So just before we finished up the segment, I was talking to Ciani Jacobs, 13-year-old from Crockett Middle School in Hamilton Township, and she was talking about the church where her mother preaches, which is at Lion of Judah Church, and that's in New Jersey, right?
Yes.
Okay. But Ms. Keara Mulder here, president and CEO of Virtuous Women of Promise. I was wondering maybe she worshiped at the same church, but she told me no. And then I had to take 15 seconds to write down the name of the church. And she said, you want me to give you the pastor's name? No, I'm going to make you give me the pastor's name. And after you do that, I've got something I want to say. So where do you worship in Philadelphia?
Okay, so I do attend the Greater Fountain of Praise Deliverance Tabernacle, where my pastor is no other than Apostle Ivory Jenkins Jr.
Ivy?
Ivory.
Yes. Jenkins Jr.
Yes.
All right. So Ivory Jenkins Jr. You got me with the name, man. Come on now. Come on now. So Greater Fountain of Praise Deliverance Tabernacle in Philadelphia. What part of Philly?
What part of Philly is that? I'm not good with it. We're on Lehigh. I'm not sure.
All right, so
North
it's in Philly.
Maybe.
All right, it's in Philly. All right, so Ciani, just before the break, we were talking to you, and you said some key things about empowerment, recognizing who you are as a black woman or soon-to-be woman, young woman, we'll say young adult, and how you want to come up. And you expressed that coming up is not just doing something for yourself, but setting an example for other people. It's like very much a communal idea. Where do you think that mentality stems from?
Well, my mom, she actually inspired me to, at a young age, to just start getting in the community and start helping a lot more, because I would just sit on the couch and watch TV.
And I'm sure, like most of us, and there are plenty of things that we would like to do, but there are things that, we feel called to do, things that we're driven to do,
right,
and things that our parents and our mentors lead us to do. I assume from your expression and how much joy you have radiating that you've got a really good relationship with your mom and other adults in your life. So that's good and positive. I want you two to talk about your relationship because, there's a lot of people, like it's almost like a buzzword right now, mentor, right?
Right.
Everybody wants to mentor. Everybody wants a mentee. And I understand that the reasons for it, but I also believe that to an extent, a lot of times people use that, and I'm using your words, as a come up for themselves. They got a book, so hey, I need to get a mentee, so because it kind of looks good on your resume. Yeah, I mentor, I do this, but there's different qualities that I think a mentor needs to bring, and it isn't just a matter of, hey, this person's going to hang out with me while I do this. Of course, that's a learning opportunity, but I believe that there needs to be a bit more structure, and I would assume that from what I understand of both of you, that there's quite a bit of structure involved in this. So why don't you both share your thoughts?
Well, the great thing is I had not only just have Ciani, it's actually 4 girls that I mentor right now currently. It's Ciani, I have Jada, I have Taika, and I have Kyla. They are totally 4 different personalities, but when they're all together, it's just such a great experience. The dynamic that they all feed off of each other. As me being the adult at this time that is choosing to mentor them and them choosing me to mentor them, it's almost as if I'm like an older sister. So they really come to me and they lean on me as such. So that's why if you were to see me with any of my girls, that's our dynamics. It's just like, hey girl, she's respectful. They do say Miss Keara, and I enjoy that they do respect me in that manner, but I created such a safe space for them that they're able to share with me things that they don't share with their parents, and they're able to bring me things that they may not feel comfortable bringing to others because I'm transparent with them. Mm-hmm. So they see me on my good days and they have seen me on some bad days, and for the most part I try to give them the most realest form of who Keara is, to let them know that every day is not going to be 100% this and every day may not always be 100% that. But when you are able to create a balance and you're able to own who you are in your good and in your bad, they're able to see I genuinely care for them and I genuinely love them, and that just fosters the nature of our relationship. So it makes it easy for us to sit and discuss things as far as something they may not feel comfortable with about themselves, or something they may not feel comfortable with the interactions of others, and then just what their dreams may be. And I do push them. I'm hard on them. As much as I am loving to them, I'm harder too. We did the Great Escape Room as one of our activities, and the lady was like, you're hard. I was like, yes, because I don't understand what is going on with them today. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to help you guys. That was the first thing I said. I was like, I'm not going to help you guys. You got to figure this out on your own. I was sitting there like, I can't let my girls go out like that. Here's the answer. Like, here, I can't do no more. Next thing you know, I'm up still doing it. So as much as I do push them and I do give them leeway to try to grow and do certain things on their own, I am still there to step in if I see that they may be slipping, or I see that they may be falling, or need that additional help, or need that additional voice. Like, I jump in and I'm just like, I can't let you go out like that.
And Ciani, before you answer this, I want you to finish up, Keara, with talking about the relationship that you have with your mentees' parents. Because, you hear a lot about mentors and mentees, but I think sometimes the parents get on the back burner.
So the only parent that I don't know more so or less on a personal level was Ciani's mom. I advertised, I did as much as I could, and she saw the flyer, and she's like, oh, I think I want to sign my daughter up. I was like, all right, cool. So I met her on a whim. 2 of the girls are sisters, and their mother is my best friend. So she knows me throughout the years, so we grew up together. Like, she's been my friend since I was 13, she was 12. And the other young lady, I actually used to go to church with her godmom, so she watched me grow up. She's like, oh, I can trust you with my goddaughter. She was like, I know you, I know your character, I know what you're about. So the relationship that I have with the moms, they trust me. Like, they literally trust me with their kids without a shadow of a doubt. And I can talk to them like, listen, I text them, I'm like, hey, this is what's going on. Like, I called her on a whim. I'm like, call me ASAP. I'm like, I'm sorry to do this last minute. She's like, oh, it's okay, Miss Keara. And even with Ciani, like, the first outing we did was in Delaware. I took them to the HBCU Battle of the Bands. And 2 of the girls, they stay with me whenever we have our mentoring program. And she was like, I want to stay too. And I was like, wait, I don't know how your mom's going to respond to that. And her mom, she trusted me from the moment she met me. It was just like, I can trust you with my daughter. My daughter is comfortable with you. I can see that she took a liking to you and the girls in the program. So I have no issue with the moms. Like, sometimes the one mom was like, hey, Miss Keara, I got a question. She called me up on a whim like, hey, what's going on? So the relationship that I have with the girls is awesome, but the relationship I have with their parents is even greater. To know that they have the ability to trust someone with the well-being of their child, and to know that I'm not going to steer them in the wrong direction, and I'm not going to present anything to them that will be dangerous or harmful, or teach them outside of even what they teach. So it's great. Like, I can't complain.
Now, Ciani, from your perspective as a mentee, she's right there. Let her have it.
Miss Keara, Miss Keara is like she is someone I can just go to. She's like somebody. She's not like your mom, but she's not like your sister either. She's more than that. It's very overwhelming because Miss Keara, I can never put her into words. She's the type of person who will love you no matter what. So, yeah. I just can't put it into words.
Well, we're just about up on the end of the program, but I always like for folks to come back. To keep me informed about what's happening, but also the audience as well, because, it's just like the commercials you see on TV. You see it once, it doesn't resonate, but if you see it a few times, you start saying, oh, yeah, I remember that jingle. I remember that actor who was in it. And I would love to have Virtuous Woman of Promise come back. Sure. And maybe bring some of the other mentees that you have, and see what we can do, cross-promote to grow your program. I think it would be really nice. Definitely. So you're welcome. So final words. In 30 seconds or so, what would you like to say to people?
Quick?
Yeah, do it.
If you're a female business owner, June the 29th, I'm actually hosting a sisterhood brunch at the Sprout U on East Paul Street. So again, tickets are currently $15. It'll go up to $20 next month. Also, July the 13th, Virtuous Women of Promise is holding its first annual Young Queen Summit. It's for young girls ages 10 to 17. It's going to be a great day filled with nothing but seminars and workshops. So if you have a young girl, you definitely want to see if they want to be a part of the program, get to meet me, get to even be introduced to some of the things that we do. We're talking financial literacy, self-love, self-care, finding your voice. They get the opportunity to do a podcast. So if you want your girls to be a part of something that's positive, July 13th, Young Queen Summit.
July 13th. Okay.
July 13th,
okay.
yes.
And Keara, final words for some people in the listening of viewing audience. Shout out to your friends, your mom.
Shout out to my mom. She is my rock, my everything. I love her. And yeah, girls, don't be scared and just have faith.
Awesome. Ciani and Ms. Keara, thank you so much for coming onto the program.
Having us.
Oh, absolutely. We'll talk off the air and get you back onto the program. All right, folks, you've been listening to today's topic. I'm Jacque Howard, your guest or host for this program. You can find me on the Trenton 365 platforms, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can send me an email, trenton365show@gmail.com. And if you have an organization or an entity or a cause that you'd like to have represented here over WIMG, just hit me up. We'll talk to you next week, Tuesday night, the Trenton 365 show from 7 to 8 p.m.
1300 WIMG, Ewing, Trenton.